Look up. Beyond the clouds, beyond the soft blue haze of our atmosphere, the sky tells a story billions of years in the making. Stars glide in ancient silence, planets swirl around their suns in perfect arcs, and invisible threads of gravity choreograph a cosmic dance that stretches across the heavens. At the heart of this grand motion lies a delicate balance between three familiar companions: our Earth, the glowing sun, and the silent moon. Though small in the scale of the cosmos, their interaction creates some of the most awe-inspiring spectacles ever witnessed from this pale blue dot. For thousands of years, humans have watched the sky with reverence and wonder. But it is in rare moments, when the sun disappears in daylight or the moon turns red like fire, that we are reminded of just how alive the universe truly is. These are not omens, nor accidents. They are echoes of celestial precision. In this film, we will journey into the heart of these wonders. We will explore what causes eclipses, how they reveal the hidden harmony of space, and what they tell us, not just about the sky, but about ourselves. In the vastness of space, where galaxies drift and stars burn for billions of years, three celestial bodies hold an extraordinary bond: the sun, the earth, and the moon. Three names we know well, yet their relationship is anything but ordinary. They move not as isolated objects, but as a system, a triangle of light, mass, and motion, bound together by gravity's invisible hand. It is within this trio that some of the most captivating phenomena in the sky unfold. Eclipses are not random. They are the result of this cosmic choreography. The sun, our radiant star, is the engine of life and light. The Earth, a small rocky world spinning through its orbit, dances faithfully around it. And the moon, pale and silent, follows the Earth in an endless loop, caught in its gravitational embrace. Each has its own path, its own timing. But when these paths cross in just the right way, we are gifted with a moment of celestial alignment, a brief yet powerful glimpse into the mechanics of the cosmos. We often take these relationships for granted. The sun rises, the moon changes phase, the tides roll in and out. But behind the ordinary lies precision beyond imagination. The balance of distances, sizes, and speeds between the Earth, the moon, and the sun is what makes eclipses possible at all. The moon, for instance, is 400 times smaller than the sun, but also, quite remarkably, about 400 times closer. This coincidence allows the moon to cover the sun perfectly during a total eclipse. Each of these three bodies moves with grace, but not in isolation. The Earth orbits the sun once every 365 days, tracing a nearly circular path. At the same time, the moon orbits the Earth, completing its journey every 29½ days. And while doing so, the Earth spins on its axis, making a full rotation every 24 hours. These layers of motion interact constantly, weaving a dynamic tapestry of time, seasons, tides, and, when alignment is perfect, eclipses. But there is more. Each of these bodies also rotates on its own axis. The Sun spins once every 25 days at its equator. The Earth spins daily, giving us sunrise and sunset. The Moon too rotates, but in a way that keeps one face always turned toward Earth. This phenomenon, called tidal locking, means we always see the same side of the Moon. It is a silent witness, forever showing us its familiar face, even as it orbits and turns. Their motions are not random. They are guided by gravity, shaped by time, and measured in rhythm. The Earth-Moon-Sun system is like a celestial waltz, where each partner knows its steps. And when those steps align, when the Moon moves precisely between the Earth and the Sun, or when the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, the dance turns theatrical. The sky darkens, the stars emerge. A shadow moves across the heavens. What we call an eclipse is simply the music of gravity made visible. So next time you look at the sky, remember, you are watching a cosmic partnership that has lasted for billions of years. It is not just light and distance. It is a relationship built on motion, balance, and the silent elegance of orbit. The Sun shines, the Earth moves, the Moon follows. And every so often, their paths align just enough to remind us that we live in a universe not only of matter and energy, but of patterns and beauty. At the heart of every eclipse lies a simple truth. Light can be blocked. The Sun, our only source of natural light in space, casts shadows just like a lamp in a dark room. And when one celestial body moves between two others, it casts a shadow across space. During a solar eclipse, the Moon moves in front of the Earth, casting its shadow upon our planet. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth moves between the Sun and the Moon, and Earth's shadow falls onto the lunar surface. It is light and darkness playing across cosmic distances. We often forget that both the Earth and the Moon are worlds that do not produce their own light. They shine only by reflecting the brilliance of the Sun. And just like any object that blocks a beam of light, they cast two distinct shadows: a central, dark shadow called the umbra, and a lighter outer shadow called the penumbra. These regions of darkness determine how much of the Sun or Moon is obscured during an eclipse. They are the geometry of the heavens brought to life in motion. You might wonder if the Moon circles the Earth every 29½ days, and if the Earth orbits the Sun in a predictable yearly rhythm, why do we not experience eclipses each month? The answer lies in the tilt. The Moon's orbit is not perfectly aligned with the Earth's orbit around the Sun. It is tilted by about 5 degrees. This slight angle means that most of the time, the Moon passes above or below the Sun from our point of view, and no shadow falls where it needs to. Only when the Moon crosses the plane of Earth's orbit, called the ecliptic, at the exact moment of a new moon or full moon, can an eclipse occur. These crossing points are known as nodes. The Earth, Moon, and Sun must be in almost perfect alignment along this invisible line. It is a rare celestial coincidence, and it is only at these moments, when everything lines up just right, that shadows are cast across space and eclipses are born. Timing, angle, and position, all must be just so. What makes eclipses so breathtaking is not just the shadow itself, but the improbable perfection of it all. The moon is about 400 times smaller than the sun, yet it is also about 400 times closer to Earth. This astonishing coincidence allows the moon to appear almost exactly the same size as the sun in our sky. And that is why, during a total solar eclipse, the sun can be completely covered, revealing the glowing crown of its atmosphere, the corona, in a ring of fire around the moon. This level of symmetry does not occur on most planets. Mars has no such matching moon. Jupiter's many satellites do not create the same perfect spectacle. What we see from Earth is rare, not only in space, but in time. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth at the rate of a few centimeters each year. Millions of years from now, total solar eclipses will no longer be possible. We are living in a brief celestial window where this alignment is not only possible, it is exact. To witness a solar or lunar eclipse is to stand at the center of a cosmic intersection. The sun, massive and ancient, shining across space. The Earth, spinning in the golden warmth of that light. And the moon, small but perfectly placed, casting shadows or catching them. Their dance is silent, but the effect is thunderous, a display that brings people to tears, causes cities to fall quiet, and scientists to stop and measure with reverence. It is a reminder that we are part of a universe that not only moves, but aligns. Imagine standing outside on a warm afternoon. The sky is blue, the sun steady overhead. And then, slowly, the light begins to fade. The shadows grow sharper, the air cools, and the world falls strangely silent. Birds return to their nests. Insects begin their evening chorus. A golden light turns to gray, and then, for a few breathtaking moments, it becomes night. The stars emerge, the crowd gasps, and above you, where the sun once shone, hangs a black circle surrounded by a crown of fire. This is not a dream, it is a solar eclipse. Throughout history, eclipses have stirred something deep within us. For ancient cultures, it was fear, divine wrath, celestial warning, or supernatural theft of light. For modern observers, it is something else: awe, wonder, and an urge to understand. How can the mighty sun, source of life and heat, disappear behind something as small as the moon? The answer is found not in magic, but in motion, precise, cosmic motion that allows us to witness one of nature's most perfect alignments. A solar eclipse is more than a sky event. It is a moment when time slows down, when strangers fall silent together, when the ordinary rules of day and night seem to be rewritten. It reminds us that we live not on a fixed stage, but within a living system, one where orbits, angles, and distances combine to produce something both mathematically precise and emotionally overwhelming. It is a rare glimpse of cosmic choreography, and it begins with the simplest idea: one object casting a shadow upon another. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes directly between the Earth and the Sun, blocking the sunlight that normally illuminates our sky. From Earth, it looks as if the moon is slowly sliding across the face of the Sun, turning it into a growing crescent, then a glowing ring, or in the case of a total eclipse, erasing it entirely. But this only happens under very specific conditions. The moon must be in its new phase, and must align almost perfectly with the Sun and Earth. The orbits of these celestial bodies are tilted and dynamic. The moon does not orbit in the exact same plane as the Earth orbits the Sun. Because of this 5-degree tilt, the three bodies usually do not line up in a straight line. Most months, the new moon passes above or below the Sun in the sky, and no eclipse occurs. But a few times each year, the moon crosses the Sun's path at just the right moment, and a shadow falls upon Earth. A moment of eclipse begins. During this alignment, the moon casts two distinct shadows. The darkest inner shadow, called the umbra, creates a total eclipse for those standing within its path. The lighter outer shadow, the penumbra, creates a partial eclipse. The size of these shadows and where they fall on Earth depends on the distance between the moon and Earth at the time of the eclipse. This dance of scale, timing, and geometry is what makes each solar eclipse unique, some brief, some long, some visible only in narrow corridors across continents. To witness such an event is to stand directly in the path of precision. The moon is about 400 times smaller than the Sun, but also about 400 times closer to Earth. This extraordinary coincidence allows the moon to cover the Sun almost exactly, like a key fitting perfectly into a lock. For a few fleeting minutes, the sky darkens, the stars return, and the Sun becomes a blackened void crowned by its shimmering corona. A solar eclipse is not merely a shadow, it is the universe, revealing its mechanics with astonishing grace. Not all solar eclipses are the same. Though each one is born from the same alignment, the moon passing between the Earth and the Sun, they appear in different forms depending on distance, shadow, and geometry. Some eclipses darken the world entirely. Others leave behind a blazing ring or a crescent sun. These variations are not flaws in the pattern. They are part of its beauty. Each eclipse tells a slightly different story, shaped by the exact position of the Earth, the moon, and the Sun at that singular moment. The most dramatic kind is the total solar eclipse. This occurs when the moon is close enough to the Earth to appear large enough to completely cover the face of the Sun. For those standing in the narrow path of the moon's darkest shadow, the umbra, the Sun disappears entirely. Day turns to night, the temperature drops, stars come out, and for a few precious minutes, the Sun's outer atmosphere, The corona, blazes in a crown of white fire. It is the most awe-inspiring eclipse of all, and among the rarest to witness in any one location. Then there is the partial solar eclipse, where the moon passes in front of only a portion of the sun. This occurs when you are standing within the lighter part of the moon's shadow, known as the penumbra. In this case, the sun becomes a crescent, or appears as if it has had a bite taken out of it. The sky dims, but not completely. There is no corona, no sudden plunge into darkness, but the moment is still powerful. It reminds us that even a small misalignment in space can leave a striking mark on the sky. And finally, the most surreal of all, the annular eclipse. This happens when the moon is farther away from the Earth in its elliptical orbit and appears slightly smaller than the sun. When alignment is perfect, but the moon's apparent size is too small, it fails to cover the entire solar disk. Instead, a ring of sunlight remains visible around the moon, a ring of fire burning in the sky. Unlike a total eclipse, the sun is never fully blocked, and it remains too bright to view without proper protection. Together, these three types of solar eclipses, total, partial, and annular, form a celestial spectrum of shadow and light. Each one reveals a different side of the same cosmic dance. From the complete erasure of sunlight to the glowing ring left behind by a distant moon, they are reminders that our universe is not static, but dynamic, its beauty shaped by timing, distance, and perspective. In the space of a few minutes, the sky becomes a canvas for light, darkness, and the delicate mathematics of motion. There is no way to truly prepare for the experience of a total solar eclipse. You may know the time it will happen. You may have studied the maps, set up the cameras, gathered with thousands of others in the path of totality. But when the moment comes, when the last bead of sunlight slips behind the moon, a hush falls over the world. It is not just the sky that changes, it is everything. The temperature drops, the wind fades, birds fall silent. It feels as if the earth itself is holding its breath. Light, usually so steady and reliable, takes on an eerie quality. Shadows sharpen, colors flatten. The world begins to look like a faded photograph. The sun, now reduced to a sliver, glows with a piercing brightness that seems almost unnatural. And then, totality. In those few minutes, the sun vanishes. In its place hangs a black disk, rimmed by silver fire. The solar corona, the sun's outer atmosphere, invisible on ordinary days, unfurls in delicate, dancing lines. It is like seeing the soul of the sun. For many, the emotional reaction is overwhelming. Some gasp, others weep. Even scientists who understand every detail of the phenomenon fall silent with wonder. A total eclipse is not only a visual event, it is a full sensory moment, one that connects you to the cosmos in a way that no book or diagram ever could. It is a reminder that we live in motion, that our world is part of something vast and rhythmic, and that even the most familiar things, like daylight, can be taken away and returned, all within minutes. Eclipses have not only moved hearts, they have also moved science. One of the most famous took place in the year 1919. British astronomer Arthur Eddington traveled to observe a total eclipse from the island of Principe off the coast of Africa. There, he took photographs of starlight bending around the sun during totality, evidence that space itself is curved by gravity. It was the first observational proof of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, and it changed the way we understand the universe. More recently, the Great American Eclipse of the year 2017 brought together millions of people across the United States. From Oregon to South Carolina, crowds gathered in open fields, on mountaintops, and city rooftops to witness totality sweep across the continent. It was one of the most photographed and shared eclipses in history. But beyond the spectacle, it renewed public interest in astronomy, brought families together, and reminded an entire nation that there is something larger than politics, borders, or time zones. These historic eclipses are bookmarks in the long story of human curiosity. They remind us that even fleeting moments can have lasting impacts. Whether advancing physics or uniting people in awe, eclipses have always had the power to reach beyond the sky. They invite us to look up, not just to see what is there, but to ask why, and to wonder what might still be waiting in the light or in the shadow. Long before the science of orbits and shadows, solar eclipses stirred deep fear and reverence in the hearts of ancient people. When the sun disappeared without warning, it felt like the end of the world. In ancient China, people believed that a celestial dragon was devouring the sun, and they would beat drums and bang pots to scare it away. In Viking mythology, it was a pair of sky wolves chasing the sun and moon. In many parts of the world, eclipses were seen as omens of war, death, or divine displeasure. Darkness at midday could only mean that the gods were angry, or that something in the balance of the universe had gone terribly wrong. And yet, even in the fear, there was fascination. Civilizations from the Maya to the Babylonians studied the skies, learned to predict eclipses, and folded them into calendars, rituals, and mythologies. As our understanding grew, the symbolism began to shift. Today, eclipses are no longer seen as threats, but as cosmic gifts. They represent alignment, transformation, and the extraordinary within the ordinary. In many modern cultures, eclipses are moments of reflection, unity, and even spiritual awe. Whether through fear or wonder, eclipses have always reminded us that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. It begins slowly. A full moon, bright and silver, hanging above the quiet earth. And then, something shifts. A shadow creeps across its face. The glow begins to dim. Minutes pass. The moon darkens, then deepens into a strange, haunting red. People step outside and stare upward, speaking in whispers. The night feels heavier, more ancient. It is as if the sky is remembering something. This is no ordinary full moon. This is a lunar eclipse, a cosmic moment where shadow becomes spectacle, and the moon takes on a new and eerie life. Throughout history, this transformation has stirred awe and fear in equal measure. The sight of the moon turning red, high above in the stillness of night, was once considered an omen, a warning, even a sign of doom. Yet today, we understand what is truly happening. A grand alignment, simple in design, yet astonishing in beauty. A lunar eclipse is a meeting of worlds, an elegant shadow cast in silence, visible to anyone willing to look up and wait. A lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth moves directly between the Sun and the Moon, casting its shadow onto the surface of the Moon. This can only happen during a full moon, when the Sun and Moon are on opposite sides of the Earth. But not every full moon leads to an eclipse. The orbits of the Earth and the Moon are tilted slightly, by about 5 degrees, so most months, the Earth's shadow misses the Moon entirely. An eclipse requires a special kind of alignment, one that occurs only a few times each year. During that alignment, the Earth's shadow falls in 2 parts. The darker, central region is called the umbra. This is where the Moon can disappear completely or turn red. Surrounding it is the penumbra, a lighter outer shadow that causes a gentle dimming. Whether the Moon touches the penumbra or plunges deep into the umbra determines the kind of eclipse we see. It is all about geometry, where the Moon is, where the Earth stands, and how the light of the Sun is blocked or bent. There are 3 main types of lunar eclipses, each offering a different experience of shadow and light. The most dramatic is the total lunar eclipse, when the entire Moon enters the umbra, the darkest part of Earth's shadow. During this event, the Moon often turns a deep red or copper color, a phenomenon that has earned it the name blood moon. It does not disappear entirely. Instead, it glows faintly, lit by sunlight bending through Earth's atmosphere. It is a quiet transformation and utterly unforgettable. The second type is the partial lunar eclipse. In this case, only part of the Moon moves into the umbra. A portion remains bright, while the rest darkens. It is a striking sight, a cosmic contrast between light and shadow, a visible reminder that alignment does not always need to be perfect to be beautiful. The division between the bright and dark sections of the Moon is sharp, as if someone had gently taken a bite from its glowing surface. And finally, the most subtle of all, the penumbral eclipse. Here, the Moon passes only through the penumbra, the faint outer edge of Earth's shadow. To the untrained eye, it might be hard to notice. The Moon appears slightly dimmed, its brilliance softened like the light of a lantern in mist. Though not as visually dramatic, the penumbral eclipse has its own charm. It reminds us that even gentle shifts in light can be part of a larger celestial rhythm, one that connects Earth, Moon, and Sun across space and time. And When the moon enters the Earth's shadow during a total lunar eclipse, it does not vanish into blackness. Instead, something extraordinary happens. It begins to glow with a deep red or copper hue. This is not a trick of magic, but of light. As sunlight passes through the edges of Earth's atmosphere, the shorter blue and green wavelengths are scattered outward, while the longer red and orange wavelengths are bent inward. These reddish rays are cast into the Earth's shadow, where they gently illuminate the moon. In essence, the moon is being lit by all the sunsets and sunrises occurring around the edges of the Earth at that very moment. From space, Earth would appear as a dark circle ringed with a fiery halo, and the moon, sitting in the center of that ring, catches its glow. This is why the so-called blood moon is never truly dark. It is not bleeding. It is not dying. It is simply bathed in the refracted light of 1,000 dusks. What seems otherworldly is, in truth, a reflection of our own world. Unlike solar eclipses, which are brief and visible only from narrow paths, lunar eclipses can be seen by anyone on the night side of Earth. There is no need for travel, no special equipment, and no danger to the eyes. You simply step outside, look up, and wait. Whether in the heart of a city or a quiet countryside, the eclipse unfolds slowly over hours, offering plenty of time for reflection, photography, or shared silence beneath the stars. It is one of the few astronomical events that belongs to everyone. And because the entire moon is visible to the naked eye, even without telescopes, the experience is deeply personal. You are not observing through a screen or a filtered lens. You are watching the sky change in real time, as it has for millennia. Children, elders, scientists, artists, all can witness it equally. There is no barrier, no ticket, no privilege required. A lunar eclipse invites all of humanity to pause, connect, and remember our place under the shared sky. For ancient civilizations, a blood-red moon in the night sky was a sign of disruption. In Chinese legends, it was believed that a dragon was devouring the moon. In Mesopotamia, it foretold the death of kings. In many cultures, it was considered a bad omen, a warning from the heavens that change, or calamity, was near. The sudden loss of light and the eerie color unsettled the human spirit long before science gave us a different story. But even as fear grew, so did understanding. Civilizations like the Babylonians and Maya began to track eclipses, finding patterns in the chaos. They learned to predict them, to mark them on calendars, to place them in myth not only as omens, but as parts of the cosmic cycle. Today, the myth has given way to meaning. A lunar eclipse is no longer a threat. It is a symbol of transformation, of shadow passing and light returning, of mystery revealed not by fear, but by curiosity and wonder. Lunar eclipses now inspire poets, painters, photographers, and philosophers. They are reminders that even in darkness, beauty persists. that what once frightened us can, with knowledge and time, become something to celebrate. When the moon turns red, it speaks not of endings, but of rhythm, of being part of a universe that moves with both power and grace, and invites us always to look up. Solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, two celestial events born from the same cosmic geometry, yet as different as day and night. Both depend on a single alignment, the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun falling into a near-perfect straight line. But depending on who stands in the middle, the story changes completely. Sometimes it is the Moon that passes between us and the Sun. At other times, it is Earth that blocks the sunlight meant for the Moon. Each scenario leads to a different kind of darkness and a different kind of wonder. A solar eclipse is intimate and fleeting. It can only be seen from a narrow path on Earth's surface. If you are lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time, the moon appears to bite into the sun, then covers it completely, revealing a ghostly halo, the solar corona. The sky dims, animals fall silent, and a chill sweeps through the air. It lasts only minutes, but in those minutes, day becomes night. It is a cosmic rarity, a whisper from the universe that demands your attention. A lunar eclipse, by contrast, is generous and slow. It can be seen by anyone on the night side of Earth. As the moon enters Earth's shadow, it darkens gradually, often turning a haunting shade of red. The entire process can last for hours, giving observers plenty of time to watch, reflect, and wonder. Unlike the sudden drama of a solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse is a quiet transformation, almost meditative, a long, slow reminder that we too cast a shadow in the vastness of space. There is also a matter of safety. A solar eclipse, for all its beauty, is dangerous to observe without proper protection. Looking directly at the sun, even partially covered, can cause permanent eye damage. Special eclipse glasses or filtered telescopes are required. A lunar eclipse, however, is completely safe to view with the naked eye. There is no risk, only reward. It is one of the few cosmic phenomena where danger and wonder are not entwined. The timing of each is also bound to the moon's cycle. Solar eclipses only happen during a new moon, when the moon is positioned between Earth and the sun. Lunar eclipses occur during a full moon, when Earth stands between the sun and the moon. These conditions are not met every month because the moon's orbit is tilted slightly compared to Earth's path around the sun. That tilt explains why eclipses are rare and why they always seem like something special, even to seasoned sky watchers. Another difference lies in their symbolism across cultures. Solar eclipses often inspired fear. An abrupt darkening of the sun was seen as an omen, a disruption of divine order. Lunar eclipses, while also mystical, were often seen as more spiritual or emotional, linked to cycles of change, death, and rebirth. The sun represented life and power. The moon symbolized mystery and intuition. Their eclipses mirrored those archetypes, one fierce and dramatic, the other soft and surreal. And yet, in both cases, what we witness is not magic, but alignment, not fate, but physics. These events remind us that even in a universe ruled by forces we cannot see, beauty emerges when paths cross at just the right angle. Solar and lunar eclipses are two expressions of the same truth, that we live in a cosmos where light and shadow dance together, governed by silent, reliable laws. The difference is simply where we stand and what we choose to see. So, when the next eclipse approaches, whether the moon darkens in the night or the sun disappears at midday, remember this: they are siblings, not strangers. Reflections of the same choreography written across the sky. They invite us to look up, not just with our eyes, but with our minds, and to witness the elegance of a universe in motion. In the great stillness of space, nothing truly stands still. Everything moves, slowly and surely, in repeating arcs and graceful turns. The sun rises, the moon wanes, the tides swell and retreat. But perhaps the most beautiful example of this cosmic rhythm is found in eclipses, not only because they are rare and breathtaking, but because they return. Not exactly, not perfectly, but close enough that across centuries, civilizations have seen patterns in the shadows, a whisper that the universe remembers its steps. This whisper is called the Saros cycle. It is an ancient concept, discovered long before modern telescopes, crafted not by machines, but by the patient eyes of those who dared to watch the sky and wait. The Babylonians, over 2,000 years ago, noticed something curious. If a solar or lunar eclipse occurred on a certain day, another eclipse would happen again after approximately 18 years. Not in the exact same place, but under nearly identical circumstances. Same moon phase, similar geometry, a familiar sky. The Saros cycle spans roughly 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. After that time, the sun, the moon, and the earth return to nearly the same alignment. Their paths cross again, like dancers meeting once more at the same step in the choreography. But because of that 8-hour difference, Earth has rotated by a third of a turn, so the next eclipse appears about 1/3 of the way around the planet. Each time, the location shifts westward, painting a spiral across history. A single Saros series can last over 12 centuries, producing 70 or more eclipses in sequence. That means the eclipse you witness today may be part of a pattern that began before your ancestors were born and will not conclude until long after your descendants have gone. It is an invisible thread connecting generations, one eclipse at a time. With each return, the eclipse changes slightly. It may begin as a partial event, grow to a total one, and then fade again before the cycle ends. What is remarkable is how early astronomers understood this. Without satellites or simulations, they mapped the sky by hand. They tracked the motion of the moon against the backdrop of stars. They recorded the days and positions of eclipses and discovered, buried in the repetition, a sense of order. The Saros cycle became a tool for prediction, allowing scholars in Babylon, Greece, India, and China to forecast eclipses with astonishing precision, centuries before modern science confirmed their accuracy. This repetition speaks to something deep in the nature of the cosmos, a rhythm, a returning. We often think of the universe as chaotic, random, perhaps even indifferent. But the eclipse cycle suggests something different. There is structure, there is timing, not from intention, but from balance. Gravity does not guess, it governs. And in that governance, patterns emerge. Beautiful, solemn, predictable patterns carved in the sky. The Saros cycle is not the only cycle. There are others, more complex and subtle, such as the Inex cycle and the Tritos series. But Saros is the most elegant. It bridges time in a way we can see. It reminds us that while eclipses may feel like once-in-a-lifetime events, they are actually part of a deeper cosmic cadence. A clock that ticks in years, not seconds. A calendar not written in ink, but in shadow and light. And there is something deeply human about our response to these cycles. We look back to the past to understand them. We look forward to the future to witness them. We build rituals, myths, and scientific models around their returns. Eclipses connect us not only to the mechanics of the heavens, but to our own longing for meaning in repetition, for comfort in the knowledge that the same sky will darken again. So, when you stand beneath an eclipse, know this: you are not just watching a spectacle, you are participating in a cycle older than language, older than civilization. A pattern of light and shadow that arcs across millennia. And whether it is the first eclipse of your life or the fifth, it is never just a moment. It is part of something vast, something enduring, something that says, in this ever-changing universe, some things return. Eclipses are not merely moments of darkness. They are moments of discovery. For thousands of years, they have pushed the boundaries of what we know, challenged our fears, and reshaped our understanding of the universe. In the silence that falls when the sun disappears or the moon turns red, humanity has listened and learned. From ancient priests to modern physicists, eclipses have served as cosmic clues, guiding us from myth into science, from confusion into clarity. In the past, eclipses were viewed with awe and dread. Their sudden arrival, their eerie light, and their emotional intensity gave rise to stories of dragons, demons, and divine anger. Cultures around the world recorded them in stone, in scrolls, in song. These stories reveal something timeless, our need to find meaning in the heavens. The sky was our first calendar, our first clock, and our first mirror. and eclipses, rare and dramatic, became markers of fate, change, and mystery. But as time passed, observation replaced superstition. Ancient Babylonian astronomers were among the first to recognize patterns in eclipses. They discovered that these events followed cycles, that they were not random acts of gods, but predictable motions of celestial bodies. This realization planted the seeds of astronomy. It gave birth to the idea that the universe could be understood, measured, and, eventually, mapped. Eclipses were the doorway into scientific thinking. In more recent centuries, eclipses became tools for confirming the laws of nature. During the total solar eclipse of the year 1919, British astronomer Arthur Eddington measured the position of stars near the eclipsed sun. His data confirmed that starlight curved as it passed near the sun's gravity, just as Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity had predicted. That moment was more than a scientific triumph. It was a revolution in how we understood space, time, and light itself. Eclipses also brought people together, not only scientists, but whole communities. In the modern era, eclipses inspire massive gatherings. Families, students, artists, and explorers travel great distances to witness them. People camp beneath the sky, join strangers in silence, and watch as the cosmos writes its shadow across the land. These shared experiences transcend language and culture. For a few brief minutes, we all look in the same direction, reminded that we live on a planet moving through space together. Culturally, eclipses continue to inspire creativity. Poets have written verses about the moon's vanishing glow. Painters have tried to capture the corona's soft flame. Filmmakers and musicians use eclipses as metaphors for transformation, endings, and rebirth. There is something deeply human about these symbols, a recognition that darkness can be beautiful, that what disappears will return, and that mystery is not the opposite of truth, but part of it. Above all, eclipses teach humility. They remind us that we are standing on a moving world, orbiting a star, sharing a sky with countless others. They show us the scale of the universe, and also its intimacy, how a moon just the right size, at just the right distance, can touch our world with its shadow and light. In their fleeting beauty, eclipses bring together science and story, history and hope. They remind us not only of what we have learned, but of all that we still do not know. Eclipses have inspired wonder for millennia, but alongside awe, they have also given rise to misunderstanding. Even today, in an age of science and satellites, myths linger in the shadow of the moon. Some are harmless curiosities, others can be dangerous. To appreciate eclipses fully, we must first clear away the fog of fiction and step into the light of fact. Because in truth, the real science behind eclipses is far more fascinating than any superstition ever told. One of the most common fears is that eclipses are harmful to pregnant women or unborn children. This belief, present in many cultures, warns expectant mothers to stay indoors during a solar eclipse. But there is no scientific basis for this idea. The moon passing between Earth and the Sun does not emit rays or forces that affect pregnancy. It is a shadow, nothing more. The fear may have roots in the emotional impact of sudden darkness, but it does not reflect the reality of physics or biology. Another dangerous misconception is that you can look directly at a solar eclipse without harm. This is false. In fact, a partially eclipsed sun can be even more damaging to the eyes than a full midday sun. The brightness may seem reduced, but the harmful ultraviolet and infrared radiation remains strong. Looking at a solar eclipse without certified protective glasses can cause permanent retinal damage. The only safe way to view a solar eclipse is with proper solar filters or indirect viewing methods. There is also the belief that eclipses are rare everywhere on Earth. In truth, eclipses happen frequently, at least 4 times a year, sometimes more. But because each solar eclipse is visible from only a narrow path, any one location may see a total eclipse only once every several centuries. Lunar eclipses, on the other hand, are visible to a much wider region. The rarity we experience is more about geography than frequency. The universe does not withhold eclipses, it simply spreads them out. Some believe that lunar eclipses turn the moon red because of some mystical transformation, or worse, because of pollution or blood in the atmosphere. But the crimson glow comes from sunlight bending through Earth's atmosphere. The same way a sunset turns red, so does the moon, lit by every sunrise and sunset happening around the world at once. It is not a bad omen. It is scattered light, refracted through air and dust, painting the moon in the colors of Earth's horizon. One final misconception is that eclipses are random events, cosmic accidents without pattern. But as we have seen, they are deeply mathematical. Governed by orbital mechanics, they follow cycles and rules as precise as any clock. Ancient peoples saw chaos in the sky because they lacked the tools to measure time at such a scale. Today, we know better. Eclipses are predictable centuries in advance. They are not signs from the gods. They are signs of a universe that keeps time with breathtaking precision. When we let go of these misconceptions, what remains is not emptiness, but deeper wonder. The truth does not make eclipses less magical. It makes them more profound. Because in understanding the real mechanics behind an eclipse, we are not destroying mystery. We are honoring it. We are saying, the universe is not just beautiful, it is also knowable. And that, perhaps, is the most astonishing truth of all. Witnessing an eclipse is one of the most awe-inspiring experiences a person can have under the sky. But to observe it safely, especially a solar eclipse, preparation is essential. Unlike lunar eclipses, which are completely safe to watch with the naked eye, Solar eclipses can cause serious and irreversible eye damage if viewed improperly. The sun may appear dimmed during a partial eclipse, but it still emits powerful ultraviolet and infrared radiation that can burn the retina in seconds, without any pain or warning. To observe a solar eclipse safely, you must use proper solar viewing glasses, ones that meet the international safety standard known as ISO 12312-2. These are not ordinary sunglasses. They block more than 99% of visible light and nearly all harmful radiation. If you do not have eclipse glasses, you can also use a solar filter attached to a telescope or binoculars. Never look through optical instruments without a certified solar filter in place. It can be even more dangerous than viewing with the naked eye. There are also creative and indirect ways to enjoy a solar eclipse. You can use a pinhole projector. Simply poke a small hole in a piece of cardboard and let sunlight pass through it onto a flat surface. You will see a tiny image of the eclipsed sun appear in the shadow. Even the gaps between leaves can act as natural pinholes, casting dozens of crescent-shaped images on the ground. These methods are completely safe and offer a unique, artistic way to experience the event, especially with children or large groups. If you are planning to photograph the eclipse, remember that your camera sensor needs protection too. Attach a solar filter over the lens, just as you would for your eyes. Never rely on a phone screen or unfiltered digital display to safely watch the eclipse. It is not just about damage to equipment, it is about your vision. One careless glance could cost you a lifetime of sight. Always test your equipment ahead of time and follow recommended safety guidelines from trusted scientific sources. Lunar eclipses, in contrast, are wonderfully accessible. You do not need special glasses, filters, or equipment. Just step outside, look up, and let your eyes adjust. With binoculars or a telescope, you can see rich detail in the moon's surface as it slips into Earth's shadow. The experience is quiet, slow, and deeply moving. Best of all, it can be shared widely. Unlike solar eclipses, which are visible only from narrow paths, a lunar eclipse can be seen by anyone on the night side of Earth, no matter where they are. In the end, eclipses are gifts from the universe. But like all rare and powerful experiences, they come with responsibilities. To watch them is to participate in something ancient and extraordinary. To watch them safely is to do so with wisdom. Prepare ahead of time, protect your eyes, share the experience, and above all, look up not only with wonder, but with care. In the grand theater of the cosmos, eclipses are fleeting acts, brief moments when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A sudden darkness in the middle of the day, a moon that glows red like ancient fire. They come and go, sometimes without notice, sometimes with the world watching. And yet, in that passing shadow, something stirs within us. A sense that we are part of something vast, something moving, something bound by rhythm and governed by laws older than our species, older even than our planet. We chase eclipses across continents. We gather under the sky as strangers and leave as witnesses. Some of us cry, some of us fall silent, others cheer. And in those shared moments of wonder, the boundary between science and soul begins to blur. Because these are not just alignments of celestial bodies, they are alignments of curiosity, history, and meaning. They are nature's way of reminding us that light and shadow are not enemies. They are partners in the dance of the universe. So, as the sun re-emerges from behind the moon, or as the moon escapes from Earth's shadow, let us carry that wonder with us. Let us remember that we are children of this cosmos, not just spectators of its beauty, but expressions of it. To witness an eclipse is not only to see a rare event in the sky, it is to be reminded of our place in the universe. Small, yes, fragile, perhaps, but never alone. For in every shadow there is light, and in every light a reason to look up. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.